Good evening, everyone. Myself, I'm Russ. I work as a product architect at Social Solutions. So here today we'll be talking about continuous database deployment with EF Core and Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions. I hope I'm audible. So let's understand. Here is the agenda. So first we'll learn why we need to automate database deployment. Then we'll learn about what are the challenges in automated database deployment. Then we'll introduce to EF core migrations, which is a core part in database deployment, what we are talking. Then we will be talking about building a database deployment pipeline in Azure DevOps. Then we will explore a new way, EF core migration bundles, which is a new way to uh, run EF4 migrations in uh, SaaS or Docker systems recently introduced by Microsoft or EF4 team. And finally, we will create a GitHub action pipeline with EF4 migration bundles. And I'll talk about if there is any questions. Okay. So why you need to why we need to do automated database deployment. So let me tell you a story. What was happening when I joined in my current organization? For our customers, we uh, provide isolated SQL Server databases in cloud. So deploying that database changes, it was a very hectic job because we have to inform customer like there will be a downtime and it's a manual job. So we have to get the script from developers and the guy who's deploying. He need to sit and execute this script on each and every database instance, and it is error prone. Sometimes, if he misses something or if he misses any script, it can impact the production, and we may not be able to understand what's happened with that particular instance because we will be doing it for say 50 customers or 50 databases. There is a high chance we may miss one or two. So first, my challenge was I wanted to reduce application downtime because it was like we since we were serving that time we were serving 30 customers. We had to say okay, we need to we are pushing a new release and it can impact. So there will be a downtime of 2 to 3 hours. So I wanted to reduce that. That was my first concern. Second, the manual deployment, what I was talking, because it's an error-prone job. So anyone can miss something and it can impact the whole system. And it's since it's a manual process, it can impact the developer productivity also. So the guy who is supposed to release it will be very frustrating for him because he need to do it for each and every database and all the issues related to the manual work also there. And finally, for SaaS companies, something like us, uh, most of our customers are from BFSI, so they have come like when we talk to them, their audit team come into picture and they will ask questions like, okay, how you are deploying, how like which all developers can access production database. All those questions will ask. So we need to like reduce that also. Uh, we need to make our compliance or regulatory requirements we need to increase that. We need to avoid maximum manual intervention. So these are the things, or these are the motivations which uh, we use to automate our database deployment. And what are the challenges in this? So the first and major challenge was version controlling database, and database changes are difficult. For example, if you are when you like build a feature and you are commit some changes, and when you are building a new feature and you are added one or two new tables, it is hard for you to version control these things, because what you can do, probably you'll be creating a new database and you'll be version controlling that. But comparing what all the changes happen between feature 1 and feature 2, you have to always go back and restore these databases into some server, and you need to do a difference between these two databases using some controls. So it is very hard and difficult. And another issue is process of application and database deployment is entirely different. That means when you are deploying an application, it is simple, straightforward. You just need to upload it, or uh, like build it, upload, and you're done. But in case of database, if it is a whole database, you just need to restore it. But if it is some changes only, you need to make sure these changes are not applied in the database, and you need to deploy it. So you might be running SQL scripts or something. So that's why it's two different things, and that is the challenges related to that. How we can solve this? So one approach being, what we can do, keep the database changes part of the application code, so that it can be version controlled along with the application, and it can be deployed along with the application source code also. So how we can do that? For that, uh, Microsoft in .NET 3.5, Microsoft Simultaneous Framework. It's an ORM technology, and as part of uh, Entity Framework, uh, they introduced Entity Framework Core Migration. So, Entity Framework, what is EF Core Migration or Entity Framework Migration? It's a feature which help you to incrementally update your database schema, sync with application data model, and it will preserve the existing data in the database. So, basically, how it works, whenever you are changing something, you will be creating a migration, and you will be applying that migration to the database. So EF4 will create a, or entity framework will create a table in the database, and will track whatever migrations you apply. It will be tracked in the table. So whenever you apply new migration, it will check, okay, whether that migration is applied or not. If that migration is applied, it will ignore. If not, it will apply. So that's the way EF code sync the data between your application code and database. So how we can do that? So basically, to create EF code migrations, you need EF code tools. You can install it using .NET EF CLA tool. You can use it in this demo or presentation. I am using CLI tools. I am not using Visual Studio. If you are using Visual Studio, you can use this one, or you can use PowerShell also. So that if you are using PowerShell, you don't need to install the CLI tools, and the command will be slightly different. To create, so when you start development, you will create a project. Then you will be adding DB context and model classes. And once you create the DB context and model classes, you can create the migration based on your configure database, it will create migration. And then when you say .tf database update, that database, whatever migrations we created so far, will be applied to the database. And there is some uh, other command which is called .tf migration script. What migration script does, it will generate SQL scripts instead of C sharp code. By default, when you create migrations, it will be on C sharp, like based on your language. In this example, I'm using C sharp. It will be C sharp, but you can create raw SQL script using .af migration scripts. The idempotent flag is used to like which helps you to make sure that the script you are generating it's compatible all the databases, whether you upload an earlier migration or different migration, it will be compatible. So let's see a demo for migrations. So here I got uh, a minimal API project. Okay. And I created two model classes, one link and this is a tag. So basically, it is a URL, something like you can. It's a bookmarking utility we are building, and it has two uh, databases. Sorry, two model classes. And in the project, I created entity framework SQL Server since we are going to deploy SQL Server to Azure and using that package and entity framework design. This package is required if you want to run migrations. So let's create first install. First, you need to install .NET 2. You can do it by running this command. So it says .NET 2 install global. Let me change the P. Uh, visible. So I'm running a command .NET to install global .NET. If I execute this command, since I already installed, it shows it's already installed. So let me run it .NET here. When you run this command, you'll be able to see that here unicorn. And these are the commands: database, DB context, migrations. So we'll be focusing on migrations and database. Okay, let's create. Uh, since if once you create a migration, it will be created on migrations folder on the root. So let me create a migration. Say I'm saying first migration. Now it is creating, building the project and creating the first migration. Now it's done. So if you look into the migrations folder, you will be able to see one class with migration, our migration class name or migration name. So when you look into it, it has two methods, one up method and one down method. So in the up method, it is actually creating tables. What are model objects or class object we have? Like link class we have, a tag class we have, and we have got the DB context with both link and tags. So more, it will create two tables in the up and down method. So basically, up will be migration will be applied when you call database update. This up method will be called. When you are like rolling back a script, you can do it using again here for migration database update. You can specifically call a migration to apply. That means if you want to roll back something, you will call like to a, not to the latest, to the previous one. So at that time, what it does, it will call the down method. So in the down method, it is dropping that table. And in my data DB context, on model creating, I am inserting, seeding some data also. So it's some basic data, and if you look into that, that is also getting inserted here. And let me open my SQL Server. I don't have any databases. What I can do, I can say not here. Database update. So if I am calling this, that means I here I am configured in my program.cs. I am configured. This is using SQL Server, and I am getting a connection from configuration bookmark DB connection. So if I go to app settings.json, here is the bookmark DB connection, and the database name is bookmarks database. Okay, so let me forward update. It will build the project again, and it will apply the database changes. So if you look into it is executing those commands. So it is creating the table, links, tags, and then it is inserting the data. So I insert links, all those things. And if you notice, you'll be able to see one more table. It is also got created. Look at this. It's called AF migration history underscore underscore AF migration history. This table is used by entity framework to sync the data. Let me refresh, and it got created. And in the table, you'll be able to see if it's migration you apply. So in our case, we applied first migration. So it is there. And links, you'll be able to see links. And the tag, you'll be able to see few tags on. Okay. So that's it with AF migrations. We'll also look into how you can generate script. So here I'm saying migrations script. Let's see, I'm putting it to a script dot one dot secret. So what it does, it will generate a script folder. It's generated script.sql. Let's open it. So if you notice, I'm not passing any add a potence flag. It's just I'm just created this one. So if you look into the code, uh, why we need the I flag or add a button flag? Because if you look into those code, it is calling create table. It is not checking whether that table exists or not. It is not checking. And if I run this script in my current database, it will fail because all these tables are already created. The links and tags are already created. So this will fail. But I'm using here. I'm using script.2. Here I'm passing I flag, add a button flag. So let's see what it is generating, and we'll see the difference. It's also got generated. Let's compare these two. So if you notice, Here, in the left side, script 1, there is no if exists check because here what this script is doing, it is looking for the migration ID. If that migration ID exists in this migration history table, it will not execute the code. Otherwise, what it does, it will execute that code. So same thing applies to all the things for insert everything. You will check always check the migration history, and if that particular migration is applied, then it will know. So it is looking for first migration, and if that migration doesn't exist, then only it will execute the code. So let me go back to the screen. That's one important aspect. So that's the importance of idempotent flag in the model. So how uh, let's build the database deployment pipeline. So to do that, first you need to create or install the EF4 tools on the build agent first. Then you need to generate the SQL script from the migration and publish it as a build artifact. Finally, executes the script and script to deploy the changes to the database. So this is the way we are building the database deployment project. So first we will be installing the EF4 tools, like the one we did, since it's already installed. Let's ignore. Then we will use the EF migrations code to generate the script. Then we'll publish the script as a build artifact. Why we need to do that? Because if you want to keep that deployment in a different release pipeline, then we need to publish that script as a build artifact. Then only you will be able to access the build script. And finally, if you are not going to a different system, you can execute the script directly into our database from the build script itself. So here is the steps. Uh, so first step is installing the uh, core tools. That's one. Second step is the generate script. Third is the publish pipeline artifact. And last one, Azure SQL task is the fourth step. So let's see a demo. I already logged in the Azure DevOps console. So how do we start? Here, so here is a finished published pipeline. So first two task is installing the EF4. Why we are doing it in two steps? Because we are not installing this in the build agent as global. We are installing it as a local. So first we need to create a tool manifest. Then you can install the .NET Core tool as local. That's why we are doing it as two step. And in the third step, we are running EF migration script, and we are pointing to a build artifact directory with to do script.sql, and we are passing the idempotent flag. Okay, so that it will generate a script which we can run in the database anytime. And here I am publishing the script. This script as an artifact to the build pipeline, and here is the SQL task. So I have got a uh, Azure subscription, and I have got some one SQL database, and here is the details like DB server, DB name, user ID, password. All these things are kept as variables and secrets. So if you look into the variables part, DB name to do SQLDB, DB server, I am I configure it as secret, and password also I kept as secret, and user ID also I kept as secret. Okay, and here you can use any authentication type. For example, it need not be SQL authentication. If you are connecting as managed identity, or you can directly put connection string, all those things are configurable. I'm using for simplicity. I'm using SQL authentication, and here I need to pass whatever the script we are generated here. Build artifact staging directory to do script. I'm using it as a build script here. So here also I can choose multiple options. I can pass deploy and backpack, backpack and SQL script or inline SQL script. I'm using the second option and I'm pushing this. You can build it same way. So first I need to install .NET Core. In this, I need to install the. Uh, you need to choose custom, and you can put the custom command. This one, .NET Q new to manifest. Okay. Next, we need to install the auto. So here, what I'm doing again, I'm adding an order task, and I'm choosing custom. Here I'm saying tool, and here I'm passing install .NET Q. This way, you can in the third script, third step, and okay. So before getting into this, we add is here. I need to pass that particular code. I can give you the GitHub location. I need to choose custom. Product here, configurations here. This one. And if you look into this is the way you can deploy. So if you look into files, I changed something. That's why it is showing some errors. Okay, so if you look into this is my code, and this is a controller, and this is some database context, and this is the migration script. So I'll be deploying this. Same thing, nothing fancy. It's just a .NET 5 project, not 6 one. This .NET 5, and here is my models, and inside data, I have got the DB context. Nothing different. So to do items, DB, and when you run, you'll be able to see something like this. So it's creating a tool manifest, then installing AF core tools, then it's generating the scripts, then publish it is publishing it as a pipeline artifact. So if I go to pipelines or the runs, you will be able to see that artifact on published and consumed. So here you'll be able to then see the script. So again, it will download. You'll be able to see the same script. That's why this. And in the final SQL task, it is invoking SQL CMD, and with the parameter I confirm, And if you look into this, it is deploying using that to do script file. Okay, that's way it is deploying in Azure DevOps. So we we use the uh, SQL or script generation method, and yeah, related to this, if I go to releases, I got a release also since I deploy it using both build and release pipeline. So it is consuming a artifact from the uh, this pipeline, and in this code, if I edit, you'll be able to see I got same task, same kind of structure. Here I am using connection string, and this connection string is a variable. Here connection string is there, and here I am using the similar stuff, and instead of SQL connection, SQL Server authentication, I am using connection string. And here also uh, three options are there. I chose script file, and I got the script file from the uh, like my build pipeline. So if I expand build pipeline, you'll see the job artifact thing. I just need to select it. Since I already selected, that OK button is disabled. Okay. Uh, yeah, that's it about deploying database using Azure DevOps. We created the pipeline and we deployed using both build pipeline and release pipelines. So you can configure release pipeline like okay, you can do the approval process, or you can uh, automatically configure the deployment to your staging or QA through automation, and for production you can put a human intervention like something like when you are ready for a release, you get a approval mail. Once you approve, it will be automatically deployed to your instance. And here is the YAML. So it's doing the same thing. First installing the .NET new tool manifest, then it is installing the .NET TF, .NET tool, install .NET TF, then it's creating .NET TF migration script, same thing. What is the using .NET CLI. So that .NET exe will be prefixed to all these commands. Okay, one scenario when I was talking how do we do it for multiple database? So what we were doing, uh, instead of doing it in the like we what we did, we created a PowerShell task, and we created this script. So basically, what it is, it is connecting to the master database first, and selecting all the databases excluding master 10 model MSDB, all the databases, and looping, enumerating them. I'll be creating a dynamically replacing the master DB with the database name, and creating a connection string, and I'm creating a connection string, and again I'm calling invoke SQL CMD with the input file as the script file, which is coming from the uh, build previous step, generate SQL script, and executing using that connection string. It's a PowerShell script. So here also, if you go here, you'll be able to see this one. So I disabled it. So basically, what I'm doing, I'm saying, okay, master DB is master, and this is the script file, so which is generated here. build artifact staging directory to do script, which I am doing here. Then I'm first querying SQL CMD. So here I am saying select name from sys databases where name not in this databases list and with the master DB connection. So here it is an environment variable. Then I'm looping through the database array and I'm dynamically creating the connection string. So what I'm doing, master DB dot replace that database name with the database dot name object or string. Then I'm invoking SQL CMD with the input file as the script file which is used here and the connection string. So this way you can deploy the same script in multiple databases. So in our scenario, we are doing it. Okay. So that's about multiple databases. Another scenario is how do we manage with stock procedure? So for stock procedure, it's little tricky. So what we need to do here for stock procedures, first you need to create an empty migration. So run here migrations and get all to speech. So it will create an empty migration script with empty up and down methods. Okay. So here, if you look, there is no up or down. Like both up and down is empty. So the code you want to execute, you just need to write it there. So here, what I'm doing, I'm just saying, okay, create or alter structure here, get to do items by status, and I'm passing a parameter as select star from to do items where is completed list. And in here, we need to write draw the skill. Um, so this is Intelli GitHub Copilot is doing that form. So here I'm dropping the procedure for that the stop procedure I'm dropping. And if you play this migration here, and database update, that is also applied in this database. So if I go to programmability, you might need to refresh. So yes, you see this. Okay, same. Okay, that's about strategies. Okay, next let's explore EF core migration methods. So, what is EF core migration methods? This is a new feature introduced in .NET 6 by EF core team. Basically, what it does, instead of we generating a script and executing it using SQL CMD, EF core migration bundle actually, when you call when you create a bundle, it is actually an exe which is capable of executing this code without your entity framework SDK, sorry, .NET SDK or any entity framework tools. You just need .NET framework runtime. So you can be executed in both Linux or Windows agents. So first two steps are same. You need to install the build agent. Sorry, uh, .NET EF tool and migration like uh, you need to create migration and using once you create the migration you need to Instead of applying migration to database directly, you need to create the bundle. So .NET migration bundle command will create an exe for you, and you can call this exe to deploy the changes. Um, Let me show you demo. But sometimes what happens, it might not work. There is some bugs associated to this. Let me see anyway. So here I'm adding a field for is public, and I'm creating another migration for the migrations, and one is public. The, so it's creating a migration, and instead of applying it, I'm calling .NET migrations bundle. It might fail because sometimes it will not create bundle if you open that project in VS Code. It was an issue the earlier version. Okay, so it failed. Let me try by closing VS Code and try once again. Yeah, so it's got created. So if you look into this, you'll be able to see f bundle.exe, and it says don't forget to copy app settings JSON along your bundle if you need to apply migration. So what we are going to do, we are not if app settings is there, you don't need to uh, pass the uh, connection string, or you just need to pass the connection string. So I am just since app setting is there, I'm just applying it here, running it here. So you'll be able to see it is similar like earlier. It is executing uh, using bookmark DB context, and you'll be able to see auto table links is public, not as bit. Okay, and it is also inserting a record in EF migration history. Is public feature added. So this is the way you can use migration bundles, and you can do the same thing. So I have got a GitHub is API. Uh, here's my GitHub page. If I go to minimal API in this project, I created a GitHub action. So let me go to the project, and if you look into this, you will be able to see. Okay, I am using the similar stuff. I am first installing the .NET 6, setting up .NET. Next, I am installing the EF2. I am building it with configuration release. Then I am installing the .NET 2. So the command we executed in Azure DevOps in two steps. Here I am doing it one step. So I am creating a manifest, then I am installing the .NET 2. Then I am bundling it using EF migration bundle. This verbose helps you to identify what's error. If it is facing an error, uh, you can put this flag and no. And then I am running EF bundle with the connection. And this connection string is in GitHub. So since it's a Ubuntu machine, I'm running it as dot slash. It is creating an executable and passing a connection string. And if I go to settings, secrets, you will be able to see connection string as a secret here. And in actions, it is failing because I changed the connection string for the database. So here I am setting up .NET Core. Then I am building .NET TF bundle. So here if you look, I am running .NET TF migration bundle verbose. It is getting created. They close it. Then I am deploying the database in this. So here if I am running run TF bundle with the connection string. Unfortunately, since I changed the password and all, it is disabling. It's failing. Yes. So this way, you will be able to create a. It's again, it is similar to Azure DevOps, nothing fancy. You just create an action with corner, and you can even use this YAML file directly. That's it. Uh, if I'm open to questions, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope there is no questions. So thank you all for attending. Uh, you can always find about Azure in Azure Kochi, Azure Developer Group Kochi, and confirm. Thank you once again. Let me end the broadcast.